Welcome back to another episode of A Closer Look across the Village Media Network and available wherever you get your favorite podcast. Also, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Tell you.
Did you remember them all?
Slowly but surely.
Do you check all those every day?
I have cheat sheets just because I know invariably I'm going to miss one.
All right.
With Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Big show coming up tomorrow night. Bit of a teaser. Michael Garcia, CEO of Algoma Steel, will join us to talk tariffs.
Yes,
get an update.
Yeah, the Carney government announced some measures to help steel plants in Canada. Largely well received by Canadian steel producers.
Yep.
We're going to get into the details of what those are and to hear some reaction from the man who's running one of Canada's independent steel makers.
Absolutely. Also in the news today, the Canadian Industrial Relations Board has announced that Cup W employees under Canada Post will be going to their polls to vote on the company's or the corporation's latest and final contract offer. That starts Monday.
And this is from the same dispute that's been going on for almost a year.
Man, it seems like it's never ending. But here's what the corporation is saying, that in June they were losing $10 million a day.
That's insane.
That is insane. So here's what's on the table. Wage increases of 6% in year 1, 3 in year 2, 2 in year 3, and 2 in year 4. Signing bonus, $1,000 for full-time, $500 for all others. A few other things, but again, voting starts Monday, goes until the 1st of August, according to the CIRB.
So potentially no strike this Christmas.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Remember last Christmas?
Oh, yeah, it was crazy.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You know what you don't need it to get in the mail?
Tell me.
An email newsletter subscription to DundasToday.com.
Oh.
Our newest local news site launched yesterday. We talked about it on the show. It really hit with a splash. It was a great launch. Lots of excitement in the community of Dundas. Fantastic stories by Brenda Jeffries and her team. It's exciting. I mean, we plan these things for a while. They're in the works, and we know they're coming. We tease to the people there. The site's coming, and then when you actually flip the switch and it shows up, it's pretty amazing.
Yep.
And I get to work on the welcome stories. Letting people know who we are, what we do, and it's nice to read the comments. There's some people basically the comments have been, we've needed this for a long time. We need to have some reputable local news in our community, and we're really excited to have this. So I think it's great. Number 27. I wonder if we'll ever get to 30.
Oh. There's a tease.
Now they'll want us to do it tomorrow now because I said that.
That's right. Jeff would be like, let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, DundasToday.com. And by the way, we had a few viewers reach out with some feedback on the show last night. So we thank them and welcome them to the Village family. Okay, summer camps. Did you go as a kid?
I didn't go to summer camps per se, like not the sleepaway camps.
Right.
Although some friends of mine did. I was more my parents were great at doing the library programs, the reading clubs and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And we were talking about this before we went on. We had like soupies. I don't know if that's a Hamilton thing but like, the city young kids, like teenagers who would be employed by the city, go to all the parks, be deployed, and then kids show up and they would run activities all day. So as a parent, you knew that if your kid was at the neighborhood park, there was a city worker there.
You had some supervision.
Talking about that. So so we're going to be talking to a professor from Brock University who's kind of an expert on the benefits of camps and summer programs for kids, but also how there's a big gap between families with lower income trying to get access to these camps. Which is, I think, one of the questions we have is it's kind of always been like that, but kind of what programs are in place. And just, I think, to talk a little bit about how it's even more of a challenge to get kids doing outdoor activities, right? You and I would have done it naturally. We're outside every minute of the summer, right?
Totally.
And I don't know if there's any research to back this up, but it sure doesn't feel like that now. If you're out and about, I don't see a lot of kids on bikes. I don't see kids playing at the park. No. It's just not something we see. So we're going to talk to Erin Sharpe about that as well today.
And when was it time to come home? When the street lights
came on. Or if you were hungry, or if you needed a glass of water, you'd run in the house and then run back out. I know we always wax, nostalgia, right? We think about, it was so much better when I was a kid, but there was something great about that, right? I mean, you woke up, you went outside, you knew which kids were going to be outside. It was all the kids in your neighborhood, and there were tons of kids in the neighborhood, right? And just a different way, and I don't see that today, but maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something better about that. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe we are.
All right, let's find out. Erin Sharpe, an associate professor of recreation and leisure studies at Brock University, joins us tonight on Closer Look. Professor, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time this evening.
Oh, thank you for the invitation.
All right. We are smack in the middle of summer camp season, whether it's day camps around the city or sleepaway camps away from home. Let's start with the obvious question, Professor. Why is it so beneficial for kids to participate in summer camps?
Well, I'm a lifelong summer camp person. I grew up going to summer camp, so I know I can speak from my personal experience. But I mean, in general, there's just opportunities for kids to learn so many different kinds of things, not just, learning about how to do different activities, which is important, but, often summer camp involves kids learning about how to work with other people, learning about how to kind of be themselves in a group or advocate for things for themselves in a group. They get modeled on how to be a leader. So a lot of kind of life skills get learned at camp, as well as they're just really fun places. There's sometimes something about camps that are kind of they're a little bit really playful environments, and kids get to just have fun and be themselves in a way that, maybe at home they can't, there's parents are there, and at school they can't because they have to be focused on, a learning task. They sort of, it's a little bit of a freer environment that way for kids to just kind of explore who they are.
For sure. Let's do a little bit of a plug. Which camp did you go to?
Well, I went to YMCA camps in Ontario. So my childhood camp was Wanakita, which is the Hamilton.
Okay, that's hilarious. So I have two of my closest friends went to Camp Wanakita, and I'm not gonna name them on the show because you'll say they were the biggest jerks at camp. So I'm not. But after we finish, I'll tell you who they were. And I bet you'll know them. 100%. I won't ask how old you are, but I bet you'll know them.
All right.
To put you on the spot even more, you talk about the benefits. When you look back, what was your fondest memory of being at Camp Wanakita? What was it about that experience when you think about who you are today and you look back? What was the most important thing?
Well, I mean, I'm a professor of recreation and leisure studies. It was very influential.
That's right.
My dream growing up was to be a camp director, and that's what led me into. Well, I was in phys ed, and then that's what led me into the field I'm in. I think probably my most impactful memory from camp was when we started doing canoe trips, and we would then be as a small group, and we'd have our route to do, and we'd have challenges that we had to face. Getting all of our stuff from point A to point B was a really impactful time, and figuring out how to do that as a group was a really a real. I learned a lot about myself that I didn't realize before in terms of what I could do. And then, the bonding that came with the other people in the group, it's definitely has stuck.
For sure.
Erin, for lower income families, summer camps have always been largely out of reach. Is that inequality worse today?
Oh, yeah, I would think so. I think there's, it's people are definitely more strapped for funds these days, right? So camp is really, a luxury item for families, I would say. So that I think is really affecting the opportunities for kids to go to camp. I think camps themselves also are, they think about they're trying to meet their bottom lines and things are tighter than they used to be there. So some of the kind of built-in programs to help camps be financially accessible, I think are a little harder for camps to do these days. So I think it's something where we're just really, you're seeing camps just cost more than they used to relative to, inflation and cost of living.
For sure. And even not just summer camps, getaway camps, but day camps, right? I mean, we were talking about that before the show. Day camps, you're looking at $300 a week just to send your kid to a gymnastics camp, for example, which is beyond a lot of people's reach. In the research you've done and your knowledge of this, what kind of supports are available and accessible for a family who might not be able to do it on their own, but is looking to send their kid, say, to a week-long day camp?
Right. Well, definitely there are supports available, subsidies available to families living on low income that might come through their city or their region. For example, some cities, they have what I think is a really good approach and a really kind of innovative approach is they'll talk with families and they'll set out an account for them to then use to spend in the way that makes sense for their family, right? So they'll say, okay, we'll allot this much to your family, and then you can see if you want to use it for this camp or that camp. So the family sort of gets that choice that makes sense for them about how to spend it. There's still some cities, like historically, there's been a lot of free programs running in summers. You know, these go way back, like 100 years old, these programs in city parks, and they called them playground programs. And so some cities, Hamilton again, London, they still are running these programs.
That's right.
So those are amazing. There's something about if they're free, then families, they don't have to kind of make a choice. They don't have to choose between this and something else that they also feel like is a real need for their family. It's a kind of the kids and families get to enjoy it sort of without that stress or feeling of sacrifice.
Yes.
Okay, on the free camps we talked. What did they call the
Soupies, right,
Soupies.
Professor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's
They still call them Soupies.
In our neighborhood back home, I grew up in Hamilton as well, and if your parents knew you were at the park because there was a city worker there, a young kid, teenager, college student.
Yep.
And it was we did everything. We did water fights, baseball games, and it was right around the corner from the house. Right? Which did they still? Now is this? I assumed this was everywhere. This was just a magical thing that happened in every city. Is that not widespread?
No. You know, it's funny, like Hamilton and some cities, like they've always kind of had that sort of philosophy as a city, that kind of social justice, let's bring everybody along. You know, Toronto's another example. But no, a lot of cities don't. Like a lot of cities have sort of always approached recreation as if you afford it, you can do it, versus something that's more of like a core value and something that they really want to make sure everybody can get. Yeah, playground supervisor. So Hamilton has been doing that for over 100 years.
Interesting.
So I grew up in Scarborough, or spent some time in Scarborough, and we had it. And I remember attending a week-long yo-yo camp.
No, you didn't.
I did, man.
A week long?
Week long. The tricks
like
that I
8
could
hours
show
a
you,
day?
I don't know if it was 8 hours, but I tell you, I could still rock the cradle.
Can you still?
You're damn right I can.
Can you still? So you're a yo
You
master?
get me a yo-yo, I'll show you.
All right,
tricks.
that's tomorrow's show. Scott Sexsmith doing yo-yo tricks.
A core memory right there. That's amazing.
And that's like 40 years ago.
Yeah, that is wow. So, but it shows the value of these kind of programs, right, Professor? We're all talking about them, and they're still part of what we remember from our childhood summers is to have that.
Yeah.
I feel silly that I assumed that was in most municipalities, but it's not.
No. And I would say some municipalities, the approach they take also, I would say, doesn't work as well. You know, for example, sometimes you'll see cities where they offer a discount. Like they'll say, okay, we'll give you 50% off if you qualify. And again, that's still just financially out of reach. You know, 50% off is still 50%. So even though it seems like a big discount, and you see this in other things too, like transit and, other sorts of city services, it's just not enough. So there's something about free programming that is really like, it does the job of making recreation accessible.
For sure. Well, more importantly, I appreciate you confirming that Hamilton's the best city to grow up in. That's a good thing to know. Also to plug the fact that we just launched a new site in Dundas this week, ProfessorDundastoday.com, which is part of Hamilton. So it's an all Hamilton show. So congrats everybody there. Let's shift away from camps a little bit just to talk about outdoor play in general. Again, another thing we were talking about before we came on the show, Soupies or no Soupies, kids still played outside when I was a kid. It was, we woke up, went outside, we were there all day, all night, till it was dark when the street lights came on.
Yep. Neighborhood
kids, there were lots of them, and that's what we did. And I don't have any data to back it up, but it sure doesn't feel that way when I drive around the city I'm in now that happens. Is there research that backs that up, or do you see that as well?
There is research that backs that up. It's really interesting research. It thinks about things in terms of the range that kids will travel outside. There's somebody who coined the term roaming range, and that's how far a child is permitted to travel from their house unsupervised. And there's been people who have tracked where things were, in 1920 and where things were in 1960 and where things were in 1980. Not the tracking has happened more in Europe, but the trend is you just see this shrinking of the roaming range where, at one time, they did generational. So they would talk to grandparents, parents, and kids. The grandparents went all over the city, right? They just sort of found their way to where they wanted to go. Parents still were roaming quite a range, but then it was, down to the city block for younger kids. So definitely generationally, there's data that shows this kind of shrinking of
fascinating.
The area. Yeah, it is. It is really fascinating. I mean, I think so much is happening in the world of parenting, right? About the fears that parents feel and the fears that parents sometimes are encouraged to feel about how they're raising their children. And so you even see things in parenting magazines, the age at which your child should be able to do something on their own. The recommendations in parenting magazines, that age has increased. Do you know what I mean? It used to be grade 5 and then it became grade 3. So when you look at some of those data points, you definitely see evidence of more supervision, less child-driven freedom.
So, Professor, to Frisco's point about there being less kids out playing, getting fresh air, doing that kind of a thing, what kind of an impact do you think that cell phones and social media has on that?
Enormous. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for all of us, I think it's interesting. We were talking with kids during COVID. And I think one thing though about COVID is that people started to recognize in a new way the value of getting outside as a mental health refresher, as a way to get remember during COVID, kids were going to school and they were on their computers or on their screens or on their phones 24/7. And I think we started to see a shift in how people thought about getting outside as not just, getting wandering around, but actually for the mental health benefits that come from just being in an environment where you can get refreshed. There is actually research that talks about being outdoors as mentally restorative because you just have so many different things you can look at and experiences you can have, and you can move through it. And for the brain, cognitively, that's a restorative activity, So yes, but I mean, we all know the lure of cell phones and social media, right? It's just, it's working so hard to keep our attention.
Well, sorry, I cut you off. It's interesting what you were saying too about the way parents have been almost influenced the way they parent today. It's a sense of fear that you can't leave your kid further than 10 feet away from you.
Unattended.
It's interesting, right? We are so careful not to let our kids out of our sight, but instead they're on these cell phones doing God knows what on these phones, which is way more dangerous than whatever they're going to encounter out in the real world, being 500 meters away from home on their bikes or something. I just find we've gone down that path, and I don't know how we turn that around.
How do you turn that around? Well, I think one of the things I'm trying to do is help us really listen to kids a little more, help us really hear from a kid's perspective what the experience is like to be outside on their own without supervision. What does it, I think, if we really listen to the joy it brings kids, the excitement, what they learn about their environment or what they learn about themselves, then I think that shifts the conversation a bit. It's not so much trying to prevent your kids from going outside because of fears. You might start to think, gosh, if I keep them inside, I'm preventing them from having all of this joy and enrichment in their life.
Yes.
So that's one thing that that's my way into this, is trying to gather more stories of kids. I send research assistants following kids around on their bikes and, see what they do and hear what they do and talk with them about what those experiences mean to them. And then, sharing that back with with parents and families is a way to just, I guess, like kind of interrupt that fear-based conversation.
Maybe that's why they're so afraid, because you have all your research assistants following them around on their bike.
That's not creepy at all.
They're there.
They know they're there. Okay, that was really my question, just to make sure you give them a heads up that you feel followed. No, that's amazing. Well, it'd be great if you keep in touch with us on the research that you're doing and what you find out. Is there anything we didn't ask you today, Professor, you wanted to get across?
No, I mean, I'm just really excited that you're talking about this topic. It's so dear to my heart. And I'm a believer in recreation being available for everybody. And so, keeping the conversation going about the cost of recreation, I think, is vital. You know, it can be easy to forget the way that it's kind of been ticking up and who gets left behind. So, I'm just really, really happy that you picked up the story and you wanted to have it included in your podcast. Thank you for that.
Great stuff. Erin Sharpe, Associate Professor of Recreation and Leisure Studies at Brock University. Erin, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a great conversation. For the record, I did ask her if she knew my friends.
You did,
and
yes.
she remembers one of them,
yes.
But she's from a little bit of a different time period than them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a big family, this camp.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give them too much of a plug, but we used to go visit them there sometimes too, and it was great. So good place.
It's great to have
small world, man.
It is a small world. But to reminisce like that, like to think back 40 years and, those free camps.
Crazy. And just like I was Glencastle Park around the corner from my house in Hamilton, and we were there. That's how we spent our summers. And there was all the kids from the neighborhood there. And here I am still at this age thinking that soupies are just a regular thing that are in communities all over the province.
No, I remember them. And the yo-yo thing, and it is a true story. This happened at the Scarborough Town Center. That's not true. Woodside Square, which was the mall in Scarborough.
I don't know if I believe you now.
It's a true story.
Facts
and a guy from, it was like Parker Brothers, whoever manufactures yo-yos. And he would come and spend, a large portion of the day teaching us yo-yo tricks.
Was it a camp for yo-yos or to learn yo-yo?
Well,
both?
I guess if the shoe fits, right?
Well, you're doing tricks now, buddy. What'd you say? Didn't you say we have a TikTok page?
Yeah, we got it all.
Daily TikTok. Scott doing yo-yo.
That's right. Today it's around the world.
What other tricks are there? What are they called? Around the world?
Oh God, I just Rock the Cradle was one of the most difficult ones.
Could you do it?
Yeah, you form a triangle while the yo-yo is spinning, and then you rock the yo-yo through the triangle. I'm telling you, man.
And you could still do it?
I could absolutely.
Do you do it at home? Like, do you fool around?
I haven't played with a yo-yo in years.
So you don't know if you could still do it?
I would guarantee you right now I could still do it.
All right. Well, yo-yo's coming tomorrow.
But here's where it starts. You got to be able to make the yo-yo sleep. You know what I mean by that? You don't know what I mean by that.
I have no idea.
That's when you.
I didn't go to yo-yo camp.
You throw it down, and it just stays down there, but it's continuously spinning.
Yeah.
And that's pivotal in starting your trick.
Why don't you start a separate podcast called Closer Yo or something like that, and just do. I bet you. I hate to say it, but I bet you it would be way more popular. People from around the world would log on to watch you teach them yo-yo.
I don't know.
Weren't the Smothers Brothers? Wasn't one of them a yo master?
I don't know, man. You're dating yourself now. All right.
Says the guy who went to yo-yo camp
in
1971.
Yeah. It's not true. Don't believe him and don't encourage him. Closer look at villagemedia.ca if you'd like to reach out, maybe talk some yo-yos. We'll be happy to do so. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, of course, across the Village Media Network and wherever you get your favorite podcast. For Michael Friscolanti, Editor-in-Chief here at Village Media. We should mention Mike Garcia from Algoma Steel tomorrow night, right here. Closer look, 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.